name is Uba, and I am a business attorney that loves to help people protect their brand, their business, and their bank. We talk about 3 main times where it's too late and what you can do to prevent that. The first thing that I want to talk about is just this idea of being proactive in your business versus being reactive. Most people will not take action until it's too late. They will not take action until something happens. They're not going to get an LLC. They're not going to protect their business until they get sued. They're not going to try to get the proper documentation until they get rejected for the grant, the business loan, whatever they're looking for. So that's the big difference between people who are successful and everybody else. Successful business owners, successful people are proactive and they move ahead of time. First thing that we want to focus on is it's too late to set up an LLC to protect yourself after you've been sued. We've had lots of people come with really terribly sad stories about how they're going to lose it all sometimes, or they're going to lose a big chunk of what they built up because they tried to protect themselves after they got sued. That's why it's way easier to invest and to start off right and to protect yourself at the beginning than it is to fix something afterwards. Because number one, you're gonna be locked in from what you can do, and number two, it's gonna cost you a whole lot more money. When you're doing business, you're engaging contracts and different transactions with the outside world. So if something happens, when you have a business entity set up, that's a wall of protection in between you and the public that you're doing business with. That protects you and your personal assets and keeps people from being able to get your house, your car, your money, your retirement accounts, your investments, all of that stuff. However, the business itself is what takes the hit. That's what is that protection between you and the world. So the business can get sued the majority of the time. So even though you're protected, that business is what takes the hit. It's too late to protect your business after you've already been sued and you haven't set up your internal documents. So if anybody's ever heard me do my little spiel about not having a paper LLC, but having a performing LLC, this is when the rubber meets the road. So when you do get into some legal action, you get sued, something happens, legal action is taken against you. One of the things that you realize is that whatever documents or whatever rules and regulations you had set up for your business at the time that you got sued, that's what goes. Those are the controlling rules and regulations. You can't get sued on Monday and then try to switch up your documentation on Tuesday to something that's favorable to you. It's too late. It's not going to fly. So when we talk about being a proactive business owner and realizing that it's going to be too late to fix things afterwards, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your stuff is on point from the jump. So when it comes to protecting your business, there are things that we can do with your operating agreement, like a COPE entity protection. So what COPE stands for is Charging Order Protected Entity. And I'm not going to bore you with the legalese. What it enables you to do is if you get sued, they can't come after your personal assets because that LLC is that wall of protection in between you and the business. But then also, if the business gets sued, they can't come after you. But if you get sued, they can't come after the business. So there are states that have laws on the books that allow you to protect yourself from both ways. However, in order to get this protection, both for the business and both for yourself, you have to have had your stuff set up beforehand. So it's too late to protect yourself from all types of attacks if you wait until something happens. The last point that I have for when it's too late is when it comes to other businesses that you have. So the problem is when you have 3, 4, 5 different businesses that are all crammed into one LLC. Now it seems like a good idea because of course you're not doing business in your own name, but the problem with that is when these businesses become successful and it's popping and you're making money, something happens to one business and everything else is in the same LLC, then they can get all of the money and all of the assets and all of your other businesses will be exposed. So where I see this the most is with my real estate clients. They'll have a rental property here, a few houses here or there, and over the years they're kind of building up their portfolio. But what a lot of people don't realize is that if you don't diversify that and put your different properties in different business entities, you are in big trouble. Because if you have 10 properties in one LLC, if somebody in property one, slips and falls and hurts themselves and sues you, they can get every single property that's owned by that LLC. So the first reason that you even created a business entity was to put that wall of protection in between you and your business. But over time, you also have to protect your businesses from each other because you don't want something like we talked about that happened at house one affecting every single house because it's all in the same roof. You've heard the phrase, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So the same thing applies here. It's too late to protect yourself if you have so many different successful businesses that are making money, but they're all inside of one business entity. because if somebody sues, somebody comes after one, they can get everything else. You got to make sure that if you have something valuable, if you're creating something of worth, if you have a business, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, if you're an entrepreneur who's turning their ideas and creating something that's going to be successful and create change for your next generation and legacy, you got to protect it. You got to see the value enough in it to make sure that we are setting up foundations that will keep that thing protected so it doesn't end up being too late for you. I want to let you guys know that we have a free business resource for you. It's a free business game plan that will literally give you tax and legal instructions at every single point of your business. You can get it at the link in my bio. It's called the Power Team Playbook. And in the year 2022, we created that resource just for you. So we want you to be able to make sure that you take advantage of that and you use that ASAP. We go live every Monday at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And if you have any questions, if you have a topic that you'd like me to discuss, always feel free to hit my DMs or slide that into a comment for one of our posts. We'd be more than happy to break that down for you.